Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Trade Life by Projekt Network. I'm your host, Ian MacFayden, and we are here sandwiching a live wall. That's just a shout out to Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic. I have with me here Kyle Kelland, VP of Construction with Hummingbird Hill Homes. Kyle, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, pal.
So I've known Kyle for how long? 5 years?
Just over 5 years now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known Kyle for about 5 years now. Kyle is a fantastic VP of Construction, which is why he's VP of Construction at Hummingbird Hill Homes. Long and illustrious career as a site super. I'm just laying the groundwork here. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some tips and tricks and some like painful stories. So we're gonna dive deep into the vault here.
Yeah.
For the longtime listeners of the podcast, so if you've listened to the previous 4 episodes, you will know that I am very short on preparation. So all Kyle knows is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about some apprenticeship stories and blunders and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
We're just going to see what comes out of this. Because I don't believe in making notes when it comes to this.
All right.
Don't take that advice in business. Take notes in business. Podcasting, different story. I don't fucking care. So Kyle.
Yeah.
You are, how old are you? Like,
I'm 39 years young. I'd like to say.
Older than that, way older.
Yeah. No, 39 years young. So I'm just a young cat, but it started pretty early on for me. So I'll just jump right in if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. You're trying to be more professional than me, which I love. It's fantastic.
I guess I am kind of a professional kind of guy.
So I do want to make sure that we're getting something of value out of this. For ideally, this episode is going to be geared a little bit more to people first setting foot in the trades. I want to share some of those stories from early days, because I know we've shared sort of personally a lot. We've had sort of like mirroring experiences around not necessarily great
experiences
early days, right? Like having some sort of struggle. So I want to make sure that we can get some of those things out and a little bit, some tips and tricks for like, if you're first year, if you're fourth year apprentice, whatever trade, doesn't matter. But like, it can be, I've said this before, it can be a little bit greasy. Yeah. Sometimes in this industry, and there can be some kind of shitty experiences. It's one of the big reasons. One of the sort of founding principles around Projekt Network was sort of creating a platform for people that are maybe earlier in their career to find other like-minded people, find better employment opportunities. Because I had no options, so I stuck it out, and I think you are kind of similar. So.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, my story starts back in high school in the OYAP program. So my last year of high school.
So what is the OYAP program?
OYAP
for
is
non-Ontario
the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Okay. So like, I was never a school guy. I did fine. I was okay. I passed all my classes and all my courses, but back in high school when I was there, like, university was pushed like so hard. It was like, if you're not going to university, you're going to work at McDonald's for the rest of your life. Like, what are you doing with yourself? And I knew.
But hey, now if you go to university, you can work at Starbucks.
There you go. You can get Starbucks. They're a lot happier at Starbucks. So maybe true. It's the university experience.
It's that benefits.
It's the benefits package for sure. But yeah, no, it was so much pressure, and it was like, what do you want to do? And you're 17 years old, right? And you're like, I don't fucking know. Like, I have no clue. I know I don't want to be in school. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And my hockey at that point in my life, hockey was kind of fizzling out. I'd found, booze, and I'd found girls, and I was having fun time partying, right? And I was like, I don't want to go to Ajax for a 7:30 game, right? So I was kind of in this world of like, I wanted to be with my friends. I didn't want to be going to school. Like, what did I want to do? And it was actually my high school hockey coach kind of pulled me aside and said, hey, listen, bud, we've got this opportunity. We're going to hand select some people here, and we've got this opportunity to sit in, and you're going to listen to a carpenter speak. You're going to listen to a bricklayer, a mason speak, an electrician, a plumber. And so they pulled me out of class, and I jump into this meeting, and it was like maybe an hour or whatever long. You're listening to all these different trades guys talk about, their experiences and how they got into it and all this stuff. And the one that kind of hit home with me was the carpentry. I was like, man, there's so many fucking different roads you can take. Like, you can be a finish guy, you can be a millwork guy, you can be a formwork guy, you can be a framer. Like, there was just so many different things that you can touch. And so my grandfather was a carpenter by trade, and I thought like, maybe I'll follow in his footsteps. Like, who knows, right? And
So
so,
what type of carpenter was your grandfather? Like
so
an
he
all-in?
he was a Finnish carpenter.
Okay.
So yeah, doors, trim, stuff like that. And I mean, when you're a Finnish carpenter, you kind of dabble in,
Yeah.
in all sorts of things. I think he was framing for a while, like stuff, like
Yeah.
it goes all over the place. But I think his bread and butter and where he made money was Finnish carpentry. And so yeah, so then I decided, I'd apply for this OYAP thing, and it was an interview process, and I'm a young guy, I had no idea what was going on, and I was accepted. So I ended up, my last semester of high school was done at Sir Sanford Fleming College in Peterborough, and it was fantastic. It was like a good way to, understand, the passion for carpentry. It was so new. They're teaching you about tools. Like, I knew nothing, right? Like, that's so green, nothing about carpentry or tools or kind of a little bit of wood shop. But I mean, that was you fucking around doing wood shop. You weren't really doing anything in high school. So yeah, coming out of that, I finished that first, year of my apprenticeship, in that one semester, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I got a co-op.
So sorry back. So
Yeah.
your final year of high school was done at a college,
Out of college.
and it was all in class. Like you weren't on
In
site.
class, correct, not
Okay.
on site. And then you had to go get I think it's like 1,800 hours or something like that to complete your level 1. I think it's like every level is like 1,800 hours that you need to complete, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I finished my school. Again, I wasn't top of my class, but I wasn't bottom of the class. I was like right there in the middle.
Perfect. Recipe.
I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy. Like, you can tell me how to do something, and I'm gonna be like, okay. And then if you show me how to do it and let me physically touch it and do it, 100%, that's how I'm gonna absorb and learn.
Yeah.
So then it was okay. Now you got to go do your 1,800 hours. So I was able to find this company out of Coburg. So I was out in the east, living in Coburg, and it was Stallwood Homes. And I'll never forget this, because I was like, oh, man, I'm a carpenter. Like, I'm going in, I'm an apprentice carpenter. I'm going to get to, and it was a subdivision, and there was these like sixplexes and some of these townhomes, and like, I get to go in, I'm going to frame, I'm going to do all these things. No chance. They're like, hey bud, great, you're here. See that lift of lumber over there? All right, well, they're done with it at that framing job. You need to move it down to unit number 73 down the street. We don't have a machine on site, so
just by hand.
Just by hand. So it was like literally just walking lumber from one end of the build to the other. The other one I'll never forget is me and a guy that I went to played hockey with, Chris Brisbane. So there's these sixplexes, and so the basements are fairly, like, they're all lower units, and they're fairly big. They're fairly long and wide, and the site super on the project says, okay, boys, come on down here with me. And we go down, and there's just a mound. And again, I would just go for carpentry, right? I'm going to touch
you're a rock star.
some carpentry here.
Yeah.
There's just mounds of gravel, like mounds of gravel. And he goes, here's a 2x4. Okay. Here's a shovel. Here's a wheelbarrow, boys.
Yep.
The underside of this 2x4 touches the gravel. The top side touches the joist. Spread the gravel. There were 3 sixplexes that we had to do. I think it took us like 2 weeks or something like that. It was like something just where it was just like, I just remember shoveling with Chris and being like, what the fuck are we doing with our lives right now? But what looking back at it, I'm like, what that taught me was just like that work ethic, like that like, you know what, it doesn't matter how long you've been in this trade or whatever trade it is. Like, when work needs to be done, it doesn't matter if you're the top guy or the low guy or whatever. When work needs to be done, like, if you don't have that work ethic, that drive to just say, fuck it, like, I'm doing it, like, and be a leader. Like, I'm going to, like, listen, you got young guys around you. Like, you can be the young guy and like, oh, the young guys here, like, they get them to do all the work. You got to lead, you got to show them.
And that is a common theme.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I talked about it in episode 1, where I kind of talked about my past.
Yeah.
We touched on it again in episode 4 with Johnny Hurahan. And it's this concept that, like, it doesn't fucking matter where you started, right? Like, my sort of story on that was similarly, I didn't do OYAP. I came into it later. I did a pre-apprenticeship, and I built a cedar strip canoe.
Yeah.
And I got out. I was like, I'm fucking shit, right? Like, greatest carpenter.
Exactly.
I'm going to go straight. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be trimming out houses. I'm going to be like hand making everything. I got it, and I fucking underpinned for 6 months.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. Yeah.
And that is like, if like one piece of wisdom that we can impart on the kids getting into it, is the first 6 months, first year, first 2 years, your job, it doesn't fucking matter how great you think you are. It doesn't matter how well you did in school.
No.
Your number one job is to be the hardest working motherfucker that's ever set foot on
be the guy that they want to that you want to turn to, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, as a site super, my site super days, I was always looking for a guy, like who's the guy or girl or whatever that is the one that when whatever task it is, doesn't matter what the task is, but the first person that clicks in your mind of like, oh shit, that needs to be done. Okay, let me go grab that person because I know no matter what, they're going to do whatever needs to be done to the fullest capabilities that they have.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that was a big thing. I was trying to figure out how to be the guy that you turn to.
Exactly. So how do you, now you oversee a lot of carpenters.
Yep.
You oversee, not a lot, but we've
got site supers. We've got a handful of site supers. We got in
terms of young people though, like not a ton, right? But we got, there's always a couple like first to third year apprentices with Timber Solutions, the carpentry arm.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little about, no specifics, no names, obviously, because this is recent, but talk to me about the way you've seen this sort of like newer generation.
Yes.
Because I don't want to like shit on the newer generation.
No, God, and it's not all of them. Yeah. Like I'll preface it there. It's not all the newer generation, but now I feel like, you know, if I talk about when I came up, right? Like I felt like I had to earn every dollar. Like if I got a raise, it was earned. I feel like now it's like there's this entitlement of like, oh, well, I went to school, I'm a Red Seal, so therefore I know what I'm doing. And it's like, listen, you have no fucking clue what you're doing. Just because you read some textbook, like, okay, great, go hand cut in that valley up there. Let's see how you do, pal. Because the theory, you're going to be up there for 6 fucking days. Yeah. Right. And that's okay. That's okay. But don't be entitled about it. Yeah. Understand that your growth and your learning, it's a slow roll. Yeah. It's revolutions around the sun. How many times do you do something over and over before you get efficient, before you get good at it, right? So just because you learned in school and you built that canoe, great. Yeah. But like, if you want to be a canoe maker, like you're going to take more than one fucking canoe before you're actually efficient at it and can make money at it, right? So like that. So now I just see this like entitlement of like, you know, I'm the best already, even though I haven't even done anything yet. I haven't even proved myself, but pay me all this money. Yeah. And when you pay somebody all this money, there's an expectation of value that you're going to get back. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part, is because it's, you know, we want to pay guys top dollar, and I want everybody to get paid top dollar and love what they do, but this is business. And so you got to make sure, like, if I'm paying you that top dollar, I expect there's a certain level of work that you're going to put in. There's a certain amount of ownership that you're going to have on this job site, and level of leadership that you're going to have on this job site. So don't go chasing the dollars right away. Chase the experience would be my,
and the dollars will come. They might not come as fast as you want them to. Yeah. But they will come, and you're going to be better served for it in the long run.
And maybe I'm jumping all over here, but I want to say there was a point in my career, like I do a lot of hiring now, and there was a point in my career where I was still hiring, when it was earlier on. And I had like 7 or 8 carpenters under me, and I was a site super, but I was like the ops guy. So I was kind of like running the different job sites, and everybody was porting into me. And I had an older gentleman come to me, and he shot for the moon, and I needed him at that time. Like I couldn't let him go, and I was afraid he was going to leave, and he shot for the moon, and I gave it to him. Like I talked to the owner of the company, and I said, fuck, like I can't lose this guy, man. Like what are we going to do? And it's like, all right. So we felt like our hands were a little tied. And then work got slow. Yeah. And guess who was the first fucking person to get cut? Yeah. Right. So you got to know where you are in your path, in your journey, and what the value is that you bring. And I'm not saying like, you know, drop yourself off a cliff here, but know where your value is, and don't try to shoot the moon right away. Yeah. Because if times get tough in construction, it's a peak and valley, man. It's ups and downs all over the place, right? Like, and so when times get tough, if you've shot the moon, you make too much money, and you're not giving enough value to that business, fuck, you're gone. Yeah. And then if you're not the guy, like if you're that prima donna guy, which is another piece of this younger generation, is they're prima donnas. They're like, oh, I'm a carpenter. Like I don't wipe snot off a wall. if you're being asked to fucking wipe the fucking snot off the wall.
Did you ever have to wipe snot?
Not snot. No, not snot. But there was shit on the wall. I mean, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was chiseling it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kind of smells funny, but here we are, so, the point there is, like, it doesn't matter who you are, who you think you are or whatever. Like, you got to show value, and you got to show that you are the person that will do whatever it takes, and outside of your job. So, like, what I mean by that is, like, when I was younger, right or wrong, like, I was spending hours, and YouTube wasn't around, all this shit. All we had was textbooks.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, I wasn't a school guy, but I was passionate about carpentry.
Yeah.
And so, like, at night, like, I was like trying to reread these textbooks, trying to prepare myself for what I was doing when I was working with this one framer.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have a softer generation now, which is okay. Like, I think we've shared stories about this, coming up. Like, I've got so many stories of, like, man, was I ever fucking scared to work at times, right?
Yeah.
I remember framing for this one guy, and he was a yeller and he was a boozer.
Yeah.
And so if he came in, and you could tell whether he had a good night or not, because he was fucking fired up at 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, and he's yelling at you, and you're like, your pouch wasn't even on yet.
Yeah.
Like you just got out of your vehicle. He got out, you got out, and you're like, you're wiping the sleep out of your eyes, and he's already like, "What the fuck, aren't the cords ready? What the fuck's going on?" And you're just like, holy shit, pal. And I remember this, like, so I was a cut guy. I was a young guy, so I'm the cut guy. I'm not nailing anything together at this point. I'm the cut guy. And he taught me this, and I forever will remember. So we've got the plus or the minus. So basically, whatever that measurement is, if he said 39 1/4 plus, that meant 39 1/4, leave the line on. Yeah. If it was 39 1/4 minus, that meant 39 1/4, take the line off.
Yeah.
If it was 39 1/4, that meant you try to split the line the best you could.
Yeah.
And he was hollering down, he was framing the floor, he was doing blocking, and he was hollering down all these numbers, and I'm trying to write these numbers down on a block of wood, and I'm a young guy, right?
So I want to, sorry, I just want to back up on that. Sure. I want to continue the story, but that reminded me of a fantastic little nuance that I've never really asked anyone. I was always curious. You take a measurement.
Yep.
You say 39 1/4.
Yeah.
Where are you drawing the line?
Yeah.
Are you drawing it dead nuts? 39 1/4?
Yeah.
So you're splitting 39 1/4.
I'm trying to split 39 1/4. And then anybody who reads a tape measure, you're going to know, like, we get downgraded. Like, finished carpentry, it's a bit different, right? You got a nice little tiny pencil, you make a little tiny tick.
But this is where it can make a difference, and it depends. And clarity. So if you're an apprentice listening to this, make sure that you're getting clarity on what the expectation is.
Exactly.
And if you're somebody that's overseeing apprentice, make sure you are clear on what the expectation.
Giving expectation, yeah.
So for me, if I was doing 39 1/4, I'd pull it and I'd make my tick just on the outside, just bigger than 39 1/4.
Yeah.
And that's where my line would be, so that the inside edge of that line was 39 1/4. So I would take the line off.
Yeah.
I would cut the line off, and my finished board would be exactly 39 1/4.
So not me. I'm trying to dead nut center that thing, and then I'm.
But that could be the difference of, it's probably not 16th, but you're getting a 32nd.
Yeah, but you could, and you know what? Let's be honest. Especially when you're framing and you're using skill saws and you're cutting 150 pieces of wood in the hour and a half that you're cutting it, right? Like. You're skilled, but, like, fuck, come on. There's we're humans. You're going to make a little bit of a human error, and you're going to wiggle here or there. Yeah. Right. And so for me, I was always trying to market dead nuts. And then I was using the plus minus system, which stuck with me. And then even all the way to another carpenter that I worked for, who really ingrained that efficiency piece in, and that plus minus. That's where that plus came from, which was just crazy, because it's like, so the plus or minus, pal. We're talking about plus. But when you're looking, if you're dialing in finished carpentry and you're actually looking at a tape measure, there's a little bit of room for error there. And when you're trying to make things, nice, primo, that matters. Yeah. So framing, not so much. But to finish out that story, he threw me all these measurements. I'm writing shit down, and fucking right, and I'm going as quick as I can, and I go and I make my lists, and he was all about efficiency, so I had to lay all the things out, and I'm cutting all these lines, and I'm throwing up this blocking. And fuck, I think the first 3 I threw them were too big, and they wouldn't fit. And he fucking fires it down at me. Like literally, if I'm underneath him, Jesus, what the hell is going on, right? And he's like, what the fucking measurements I gave you? You make sure you cut them. And I was like, sorry, I'm so sorry. And they're like, what were those measurements again? I'm not telling you the measurements again. I'm like, okay, no problem. And now I'm like remeasuring, and I'm like, oh, like, I don't know. Am I going bigger or smaller? I don't know. So then the next 3 cuts I make, I toss these ones up to him. Now they're too loose. They're falling through. Fucking fires them down. He's like, do you want a job? Do you want to work for me? And I'm like, holy shit, boy. Like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't know, right? So you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You can't fire a fucking piece of wood down an apprentice.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Especially like a first year apprentice who's like, and I'm down there and I'm shaking in my boots, right? And I was so scared, to make a mistake. But I'll tell you, I think, I don't want to get too soft here, but like it helped me grow some thick skin right away.
Yeah.
Because another thing that I learned as I go through my career, and especially at the level we're at, and now the conversations that I have to have with clients and architects and all this stuff and stakeholders is like, you got to have thick fucking skin, pal.
Yeah.
And the earlier you grow those layers of thick skin that you can let shit roll off of you, the earlier you can get that going, the calluses that you can grow, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Because like you start taking things too personally, right? And that's some experiences I've had with some guys. And again, I'm not a yeller.
Yeah.
You get me to a point, you get anybody to a point, and I'm an emotional guy, right? Like you get me there and I'll yell, sure. But that's not where I start.
Yeah.
Because I was yelled at for so many years. And so I'm not a yeller, but you can't even like give constructive criticism sometimes, and people take it so personally.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're trying to grow you not only as a carpenter, but also as a human here. Like, let's be honest, right? Like every relationship that we have, we're trying to grow people as human beings, right?
Yeah.
And whether they choose to absorb that information or say, fuck you, go fuck yourself, pal, I don't want to listen to what you have to say, that's on them, right? But like in this mentorship role that, I have here, whether it be the carpenters, whether it be the site supers, whether it's the project managers, whoever, it's that you're trying to grow those people professionally, personally, and then myself, I'm trying to grow too, right? So I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, right? I'm out here trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to pick away at, hey, you made a mistake. Hey, what was that mistake? Because I don't want to make that mistake.
Yeah.
Right. So let me learn from you. And the quicker you learn from people and learn from your own, like that's the growth.
Exactly. I think we could pick up a couple things there from what you just said there. One of them is sort of giving and receiving criticism.
Yeah.
And sort of effective communication around that. Right. Like, I think off that, some of your stories, like one of the positives that's changed in this industry is that, it's no longer okay to like whip material.
Throw 2x4 blocks back down to somebody. Yeah.
Right. But then also one of the negatives is this, and it's not just in the trades, I think it's in society as a whole, is this trend towards like, you can't give credit. I shouldn't even say you can't give criticism. People have like lost the ability to receive
it.
I've got a good friend that's a New Zealander, Kiwi by background.
Yeah.
He moved over here. He's been here for like 10 years or something now. He works as an accountant.
Yeah.
So completely different. But he was griping to me once about how the difference in culture, and how in New Zealand, if somebody working under him or somebody in an office setting did something bad, you could say to them, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
You need to redo it. Right. And he's specifically talking about an office environment. Whereas he's saying here, he's like, I'll get called to HR if I say this is shit.
This is exactly.
But it's like, it's like people, and it feeds over kind of in anything. And like, if we keep it focused on the trades, it's like people have taken, I don't know if people just have like the thinnest skin that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Like in this day and age, or if it's people are taking it too personally. Too to heart.
Right.
Right? Like me and you both had these experiences that crossed lines where they became like personal.
It became personal.
They were like insulting.
100%.
Insulting your personal intelligence, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But getting told like, this is not good enough. You need to redo this. Like that shouldn't hurt your feelings.
It can hurt your feelings. Like, because especially like, listen, one of the guys that works for us with us, I'm going to steal this line from him, Joe Thomas. Every day is a school day. I don't fucking care how old you are.
Yeah.
Every day is a school day. If you're not learning, then you're stunted. And I don't care. And I'm talking about, again, could be professionally, could be personally, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't fucking matter. Like, try to learn every single day. Obviously, not every day you're going to learn something
Yeah.
new. Got it. Like, I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is like, be open-minded
Yeah.
and understand, like, there's so many different ways and opportunities to take things away, whether that's, again, something that's happening to you or something that's happening to somebody around you. You can take lessons away all the fucking time.
Exactly.
And if you don't, then you're just closed-minded. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. And the industry's changing. I know people will, like, oh, my grandpa used to do it this way and it was good enough for, and it's like, unfortunately, construction from a productivity standpoint is the worst industry
it's okay
in the world.
It's pretty archaic.
We're like the only industry in the world that hasn't increased productivity over the past 50 years. We've actually gone back in productivity. A completely fucking separate thing, and probably don't even want to go down this rabbit hole, but the reason we've gone back in productivity is a lot of safety regulations, which good thing that there's a lot of these safety regulations.
It is good, and it's gone too far though. Like, it
has.
Like,
let's not go. Let's talk. Let's keep that for a second.
Safety stories though, because I've got some of those where
I love that. No, let's make that a separate episode. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know, because we can make like, we'll do like a round table with some other people on like just ridiculous safety stories. No. Continuing education.
Yeah.
We need to ensure that everybody is learning from their peers and investing in their future, right? So on Projekt Network, one of the reasons we built it out originally was some of those networking and being able to properly share stories in a way that isn't just like the scrolly fucking algorithm driven Instagram
bullshit.
Facebook, TikTok, like whatever. So have an actual place where you can go and you can collaborate and you can chat with people, but then building out the micro learning sessions that we're doing where people can actually invest in. So the idea of like Find Home Building, right? I gorged on Find Home Building
for years.
JLC.
I've got a stack of Find Home Building magazines that my wife, she thinks I'm a hoarder already, just because like when you've been in renovations and construction, it's like, I don't want to throw this out. This is I can use this sometime. And she's like, okay, pal, we've had that for 10 years.
No, they're absolute gold, right?
But
unfortunately, I don't know, probably fortunately, the world is getting digitized. A lot of that stuff is archaic. It's hard to find if you can even find it. And the way that technology has advanced around video, like it's so much easier and it's so much more effective. And you touched on it earlier, you're more of a visual learner.
For sure I am.
Some of these mediums where we can create how-to videos, right? And that's one of the things we're doing with Projekt Network, is to put a lot of those courses onto Projekt Network. So it actually helps people build their portfolios in terms of when they're investing the time, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, and then the need for, I know, let's say a need, right? Like it's not in my mind, it's not an optional thing. Like, if you want to grow your career, you need to be investing in some form of continuing education.
100%. Right? And again, that doesn't necessarily have to mean you need to go and enroll in this night course that teaches you welding. If you want to, whatever, like be a site manager or whatever, like there's all sorts of different ways that you can learn. And that's what I love about what we're talking about, doing the micro learning stuff with Projekt Network, because it's, again, there's so many different ways to learn. Right. And I think one thing that as I get older and I kind of see like how my son learns compared to how my daughter learns, two completely different. They're both my kids, and they both learn completely different, and it's wild, right? So that just tells you right there, like when you're sitting in a classroom when you're in elementary school or high school or university or whatever, everybody's learning at a different pace, everybody's learning a different way, and that's okay. And so I think when you talk about that, continuing education piece, like, it is so critical and so important to make yourself an asset. Because that is what you're trying to do, to grow your career and to grow even yourself as a human. Like, you got to make yourself an asset. Why hire Kyle Kelland, right? Why not hire, Billy Bob? Right. And when you get placed up, and there's a lot of people in this world and a lot of different, I hire people for a living, and a lot of different candidates, right? Like, so how do you set yourself apart? And continuing education, learning, right, is the way that you set yourself apart. Is because if you have a wealth of knowledge, and maybe you haven't touched everything, that's okay. But you know what? I did a learning module on, dovetails. I haven't done dovetails in my entire life, but I know what they are, and I know some tips and tricks around them, so that maybe 5 years from now, when I'm looking at some finger jointed stuff or some dovetail stuff, I'm like, oh shit, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I can kind of tweak my memory of like, what was that supposed to look like? How was that actually put together? How was that actually done?
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of throwing up random stuff, but to your point, like, it is so important to grow your mind to make you an asset.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I think, one of the things that we're kind of losing in the early years of the new group, the new, era coming up, is they think they did 2 years or 3 years of school, and they know, I know that, and I know this, and no, you don't.
Yeah.
And then there's the piece of just physically doing. So there's a theoretical, right? And then there's the practical. And you learn both ways. Like I said, like I'm a practical learner. So I might be able to read in that textbook or whatever, how to hand cut in a roof. But I used to go to Home Depot and I would buy a handful of lumber, and I would literally go into my backyard and practice.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to touch the roof. I didn't even get to touch the roof. But I was on the ground and I was watching them do it, but I was trying to understand, like, what are they going to need next? And the only way I would understand what they needed next was if I physically did it myself, not read it. Okay, I read it in a textbook. Oh, they do this and then they do this. That doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
It was, I needed to physically do it to know, oh fuck, the next step is they need to cut the bird's mouth in.
Yes.
So what information do they need for that?
Exactly. So, and that is wonderful, wonderful advice. And I will say that you touched on earlier, like, you don't need to go and do that. Like, don't go and enroll in a overnight welding course or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
I would say don't do that. I would say that for the vast majority of people, that is not the best way to do it. It's an archaic way. It's the way that, like, exists. There's a lot of infrastructure built around it, right? I think for the vast majority of people, look, if you can afford the time, right, and you can devote that, great. That's probably one of the better ways to do it.
Yeah.
I would argue that the best way to do it is to be able to consume some of these micro lessons.
Yep.
The way I learned was, again, find home building, and it took a lot more time, but it was like studying the pictures, reading the descriptions, and then it was going and practicing.
Yep.
And that is the critical piece, right? And I did my Red Seal, and I did the 3 levels of school.
Yeah.
And we did the in-school stuff, and it was, you got some exposure, but man, it was not, none of it was real.
Yeah.
None of it was what I encountered when I was actually on the job site.
Yeah.
I think if you can go out, so specifically in carpentry, like, try and build a fence, try and build a shed, try and, if you're lucky enough where you can, like, fuck around with a bathroom.
Yeah.
Fuck around with the, like, make sure that you,
parents, friends,
like,
family,
whatever, like,
right? Like, those were that was my beginnings, right?
Take on a side hustle, just finish a basement,
like,
whatever,
right? Or whatever it is. And again, sure, if you're lucky enough, like I was lucky enough to do some work for my family, which, they didn't pay me shit. I don't even know if I got paid, but I got the exposure to do, like, I got to tile, I got to do all these things that, I'd never done before, and I was figuring it out, and they gave me the runway to do that. Now, obviously, I was lucky in that sense. And again, for me, it was more so, don't think just because I'm going to learn on the job site. Yes, you are going to learn on the job site, right? But again, to set yourself apart, if you show up on that job site already having, not all of the knowledge, but already having the knowledge of, like, hey, what is the next step? What does my lead guy need? That is what's going to set you apart from the guy that just shows up every day, puts his 7 to 5 in, right? And they still expect that they're going to get a raise every year, and they should get a bonus, and they get all this shit. Why? Like, what did you do? You showed up. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. But you know what? I got 50 other guys knocking at my door looking to do the same fucking thing you're doing, pal.
And it's like when we're talking about like, sort of grading work performance.
Work performance, yeah.
And everyone wants to think that they're a fucking 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you did your job.
Yes. That is what I'm paying you to do.
That's a 5.
Yes.
Right? That's not an insult. That's just like, you did your job.
Yep.
You're not in trouble. I'm not mad at you. You did your job, but like, you didn't go over and above. And I will say and I can't speak for like obviously if you're an electrician, you can't just go do side jobs, right? Like, it's quite illegal.
I get it. I'm very niched in the carpentry piece of thing,
but
piece of it. For
in
sure.
carpentry, like, And it's not okay. You've got no experience. Go like con somebody into finishing their basement for them. But like you get 2-3 years of experience, you're grinding, you're getting paid. It's your day job. That's the time when whatever skills you've earned, figure out a way to go and do a side hustle.
Yep.
Go and invest a couple hours, do a weekend. Like the best tradespeople that I've ever met, every single one of them, the thing they've all had in common is they've all been fucking hungry.
Yes.
Hungry learners and hungry earners.
Earners, yeah.
Right? It was, they wanted to learn, they wanted to grow, but they wanted to earn some extra fucking money.
Yeah.
So they went and they didn't work their, whatever, 35 to 45 hours, depending on the industry and where you're at. They worked like 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
Crush it.
Yeah.
To the point in their careers where they start having families, and then you can back off. But you've built that groundwork.
Exactly. And you've kind of proved yourself within your network or your industry or whatnot. Right. And 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, for sure. I mean, I could talk for fucking hours, pal.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to draw a line with me, but like I've got lots of stories coming through. I've got hiring stories. I've got safety stories.
I think let's draw the line on that, on this episode there.
Yep.
We're going to shoot another episode right after this about hiring stories.
Okay.
But we're going to like cut and do a whole fucking thing. So parting advice for 1 to 3 year, no, let's say 0, straight into it, up to 3rd year apprentices. And I get, you don't have to be, this isn't for like an official apprentice. You don't have to be registered, but just the idea, like less than 3 years experience in the industry.
I mean, exposure, like just as many reps as you can possibly get. And not, if you're not getting paid, you're not getting paid. Like sometimes you need to get paid in education, if that makes sense, get paid in learning.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. Take on everything and anything. Don't say no to anything, right? Like, obviously don't spearhead things if you don't know what the hell you're doing, right? But if you have a chance to do a side job and make no money, but you get to go and learn under somebody, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like it's a weekend, it's whatever, it's nights, like that is just as valuable as making $1,000 on that weekend.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I think, one of the things that I feel like I set myself apart when I was younger was because I would take on whatever opportunity it was, shitty, great, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was like hungry to learn.
Yeah.
Right. And then that hungry to earn, I like that. I'm going to use that. That came a little later on in the like, okay, now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so now I can be more hungry to earn here, and I can be more aggressive and whatever. But I think the first is exposure. Like the more reps you have, and that goes for anything in life.
Yeah.
Anything in life, right? Like not just like carpentry or trades or whatever. Like the more exposure you have, more time in, the more reps you have, it's only going to make you more knowledgeable and more valuable.
The more times you bench press, bro.
Let's go.
Make an account on Projekt Network.
Yeah.
Build your portfolio, showcase your skills as you're learning, take the micro learning, take the courses, engage in the community.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's why we built it.
Yep.
You can do it in a silo if you want, but Projekt Network's free. Get on there. Fucking
hell yeah.
Do it.
See you there.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Cool. High five.